Firefly has become, honestly, my favorite DPS in the game. And she is getting her due flowers. So let's talk about it. What's going on, YouTube? Let's here once again. This time at you again with some more Honkai Star Rail. And as I was saying, Firefly is here and she has been beaten. And honestly, I consider her the most fun DPS that we have had to date, honestly. Like, I like a lot of other DPSs, you know. I'd say, I love playing the dot teams with Kafka and stuff like that, but I'm telling you, this break meta is fantastic. With this break meta here, I feel like I have a whole lot of I told you so moments, because I knew it was coming. I knew it was about to be crazy. Like, I was even talking about it back when I made that video about Gallagher. Just seeing how Boo Hill came, he was shaking up things, I just knew what we were in for, right? To the point where I actually think that Firefly might be stronger than Acheron. She might be. I mean, it depends. It depends how things go. I mean, she is, granted, my view on that is a little skewed because of how favorable this current MOC is to Firefly, where she's basically, with that Trotter, she's basically getting her E2. So it is hard to say that, but if you compare E2 Acheron to E2 it's Firefly, it's pretty close, to the point where Firefly might have it, you know, because she can just dish out that damage back to back very often in spurts, and she doesn't have much downtime when it comes to that too, where Acheron has to build up the nukes each time. But of course we know Prydwen usually does their periodic tier list that a lot of people do put a lot of faith in. So what I wanted to do is I want to take a look at the Prydwen tier list, take a look at the changes that they made, and just talk about it a little bit. So here we got the tier list here, and it looks like they made some changes. Now, as we take a quick look across it, we see that now we have one character per each category in tier 0. So let's talk about it a little bit. Let's start with the DPS. Let's start with the damage dealer. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do think Firefly belongs in the DPS or the damage dealer category because she's a damage dealer, but I get why they say that, because she doesn't just straight up deal damage. She is a special type of character that has a specific archetype, where I feel like they're trying to put the specific archetypes in the specialist category, like dot and break. So if their damage isn't up front and then you have to do some type of mechanic in order to get the damage to come out, then I guess that they're put in specialist class. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like the line's kind of blurred there. As we know, no arguments there. Acheron, right at the top, #1 when it comes to damage dealers outside of Firefly. Because honestly, I feel like a whole video can go talking about who's better, Acheron or Firefly. You know, the damage dealers, honestly, I don't think there's many changes to that. So we probably shouldn't spend too much time on the damage dealers, because honestly, like, we got Dan Heng, Jing Liu, same spot, you know. They have a solid place up in the Apex characters in the 0.5 tier. Dr. Ratio, same thing. You know, Clara, you know, she can enjoy that while she can. You know, everybody's in the same spot as they were before. We might see a bump in Blade when Jade comes, but we'll see about that. Everything, I don't think there's any changes when it comes to the damage dealer category. I don't see any arrows or anything like that. So yeah, we're not gonna, oh, Himiko got taken up. Interesting. But I feel like it's not a big deal. That's where she belongs. Well, let's go over the specialists here, right? And let's talk about Firefly. Because Firefly, as I was saying, she's phenomenal. And there's a few things that make her phenomenal. I think she is the best free-to-play friendly DPS in the game, without a doubt. When Gallagher was coming, I thought that, like, he's probably gonna be the best, because this break meta as a whole is so good, because when you're dealing with break, you don't have to worry about crit, you don't have to worry about attack, you don't have to worry about damage bonus, you don't have to worry about all these different things that take so long for us to grind up in our relics and stuff like that. All you got to do is worry about how fast they are and their break effect. And they usually have a lot of things within their kit to make sure they have a decent amount of these stats anyway, outside of the relics. So they become very easy to build. Firefly right here, you wanna know how long it took me to get her on that new set? Same day. That same day, I was able to get a full set on her, right? Granted, the set is not perfect. Do I have it here? So yeah, I was able to actually build her first day. I mean, her build isn't perfect right here. So I mean, I'll show you right, like, yeah, Her build isn't perfect or anything like that. I mean, there's definitely room for optimization. I can get more break effect on her. You know, I can get a little bit more speed on her. I kind of want to have her have a little bit more speed, and I don't have her on the new set yet for the planar piece. But I was able to get a decent 4-piece to start out with on the first day, and that's because how easy her stats are to deal with. Similar idea with Boot Hill. I just had pieces lying around that could help him out. You know, they didn't have to be super cracked pieces for him to be able to perform pretty optimally. You know, this is going to be a constant for the break effect meta, which is why getting a character like Ron May, who we'll touch on more in a little bit, is so important, because this break effect meta is incredibly powerful. You know, to the point where I feel that in the future they'll try and nerf it some way. You know, they might add more enemies that are resistant to having their shield broken immediately. So, so that's one reason why she's at the top too. Another reason is how fast she goes, so how often she's able to go. If she's doing 300, 400, 500, 600K skills on her, basically when you press her E, and she's fast enough, she's going at least 4 times within a cycle there. So that's a massive amount of damage that she's dropping, just back to back to back to back. So that constant going where she's constantly taking out enemy shield and doing all that damage, that's another reason why she's so powerful. And also too, the fact that, you know, having the enemy with their shield broken is honestly a sustain method within itself. Whereas somebody like Gallagher can get so much value because his main weakness is that he doesn't heal as much as someone like Luocha does. His sustained power isn't as good as like Fu Xuan or Huo Huo or Aventurine or even Luocha. Sustained power isn't as strong. But the simple fact that he's able to break because 1, Firefly is implanting fire weakness, so he's always able to break. And 2, because the enemies are always broken, essentially, his sustained power is enough. And so the benefits he brings ends up being able to shine more, which is why he's performing so well. And that is because of Firefly. Firefly is making this, and she's making our free Harmony unit perform so well too. She is a fantastic unit, and I am very, very pleased with her. That is why she's my favorite DPS and why I find her to be so valuable, which is me personally, you know, might be controversial, but I do think she did surpass Acheron in terms of just what kind of character she is, you know. Acheron is extremely powerful, and she'll probably see more power in the near future. But Firefly is up there. This is a whole new tier here. And then we'll talk about the other specialists here. You know, my favorite duo here, Kafka and Black Swan. I love playing them so much. They're probably my second favorite team to play with. It's just lovely, you know, especially in this new Divergent universe, seeing them go at it. It is a beautiful sight to see, you know. But yeah, they've solidified their spot here. If I remember correctly, Kafka was up here before. Now that I think about it, Kafka was up here in tier 0, and then they took her down. Wait, but they probably did that last time. I just didn't talk about it. But yeah, it took her down, which is understandable. I mean, I said my piece in terms of why I thought that she belonged on the tier 0, but even then, even with everything that I had before, if we want to keep the idea of one person being in tier 0, then I think Sam is the right person to be there. But I don't think Kafka's seen the last of tier 0. I'm just letting you know. Every time we get a new cracked dot unit, she's coming right back up, you know. So Kafka, one of the best future-proof units in the game. So there's that. And then Gallagher definitely came in knocking heads, you know. A lot of people didn't really see what he was able to do. The hype for him was a little bit lower, not because he was bad, but because, you know, Wuthering Waves, you know, which I finally decided to give it a shot, you know. So there's that, you know. I finally decided to see what it's made of there. Yeah, it's a good time. But Boot Hill definitely got the short end of the stick when it came to that, because he definitely performs well. He's the strongest single target damage dealer in the game, without a doubt. He is at the top. Honestly, everybody in the Apex, there's usually something that they are the absolute best at. They're absolute best at. And then when they're just tier 0, like, they're just so good at what they do that they just outshine all the other characters, right? But everybody in tier 0, there's something that they're best at. Best single target damage dealer. The best dot duo right here, you know, the best harmonies in their particular comps, the best sustains in their particular comps and stuff like that. And just the three strongest damage dealers that we got in the game, excluding Firefly, So they're all the best at something here. But yeah, I don't know why I keep mixing up Gallagher and Boot Hill's name. It's not the first time I've done this. I don't get it. I don't get why I keep doing that. But Boot Hill is definitely deserves a spot at the top. So he's where he should be. And then we got Topaz right here. I mean, I guess in the same tier as, yeah, I'll say that. I'll give it to that, because the thing with Topaz is that she gets so much more value when you get her signature and her E1. But if we're just dealing with E0, I think S1 is assumed. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah. So it's S0 what they assume. So I mean, okay, I get that, but I do think that this follow-up team goes up exponentially in value when you have maybe an Eidolon or signature light cones. Then, assuming everybody has signature light cones, they kind of belong up here. Dr. Ratio and Topaz went together, but when they don't have that extra investment, which is fair, it's not something that you can expect for people to have. Then yeah, I'll say T1 is a good place to be. They're meta, but they're not as good as these guys. So yeah, I mean, I've said it many times. Again, I do think Gwyneth belongs with these guys, but it is what it is. And yeah, everybody else is where they should be when it comes to that. Then we got Amplifier, which is another category that I'm excited to talk about, because with Amplifier we got Ron May. Ron May is at the top, above everybody else. Now I'm going to tell you something that was probably controversial. Before Break Meta came about, I don't think I've really said it, but I did find Sparkle to be better than Ron May. I just did, honestly. I didn't really say it because, I know people, were dead set on including me. I've always said that for certain reasons, Ron May was the top, but Sparkle was just, because hyper carry team comps were so plentiful, and there were so many, and Sparkle was the best at, Sparkle's niche was just kind of huge. So I did always kind of feel that Sparkle was just a little bit better, for most team comps there, because Ron May was just always a really good solid pick for most teams. But for the teams that Sparkle was on, she was beating ass, Then here came Robin, who was similar, but the fact of the matter was that Ron May didn't have her niche, but now she does. She has her niche, and now that she has her niche and she's as good as she was before, it is a clear, concise decision that she is one step above the rest. It is what it is, because she was already neck and neck with everybody else before her niche even came. So now that it's here, take your crown, queen. It's over. That's it. That's over. I love Sparkle. She's my favorite character, but it is what it is. It happens. Ron May deserves the top, and Robin is good too. I mean, Robin is right up there. I do think Robin is, before Ron May had her niche, they were neck and neck too. It's just that Robin had her niche and Ron May didn't. And then we got this guy right here, E6 Trailblazer Harmony. Fantastic unit. It just makes me so happy that the MC of the game is an S tier Apex unit, tier 0.5. It just makes me so happy that we have just a free character that just is able to just perform that well. I mean, I feel like it's a matter of time before that they're power creeps, but I think it's going to be quite some time before it happens. And even if it does happen, the character that power creeps them, it's probably just going to seem pretty unnecessary, because we have a character that can perform so well. Honestly, I mean, even if they get power crept, what more can another person do? Maybe when that day comes, I'll probably be eating these words, but you know, from right now, I'm thinking, what more can they really do? Because the Harmony Trailblazer seems to just do a just fine job, and you know, you can't really ask for more. So it makes me really happy that they're performing so well, and that is a right placement too. I do agree with that. I'm not sure what much I don't agree with. Honestly, man, I'm kind of a yes man for this thing here, because I don't see much things that I disagree with. You know, we've talked about Ten before, same placement. She deserves that spot. We talked about Pella before, and she's where she should be now. I mean, maybe Silverwolf belongs in tier 1. Maybe Silverwolf belongs in tier 1. I feel like a lot of people kind of sleep on Silverwolf's possible role in Boot Hill break teams and break teams in general, even like if you want to use UAE or any type of single target damage dealers. I do think people kind of sleep on that a little bit, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. So maybe I'm gonna argue that. But yeah, everything else seems fine. Then we got a sustain over here, because now we got Fu Xuan, who got dethroned. Fu Xuan got dethroned, and honestly, I don't know, because like the thing is, if you're a day 1 player, you're gonna feel the same way. You're gonna put more value into Adventuring than Fu Xuan. But if you're not a day 1 player, and Fu Xuan has just as much value, she did not go down in value, because that crit rate that she gives is pretty massive. It's massive, and she keeps you from dying because of how much damage she mitigates. It's pretty insane, you know. For newer players, I feel that Fu Xuan and Adventuring are neck and neck still. But as for a veteran player, then I think that this is correct, you know. So I feel like it really comes down to perspective in terms of whether Fu Xuan deserves to get demoted or not. Honestly, I personally wouldn't have demoted her. I promise I wouldn't have, but I can see why she is demoted. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, you know. And then Gallagher shooting up. It is correct. It is a correct assessment. This was they did a good job. They did a good job with this right here. Gallagher deserves his placement. I made a video about it before. When talking about Gallagher, and you know, I predicted this happening. Gallagher is shooting up above, even though in terms of sustainability, Locha does a better job. But the simple fact that break has sustainability within itself doesn't matter. So Gallagher is where he belongs, and you love to see it, you know. And honestly, there's not really much to say about this other sustains, but you know, this was just opportunity really for me to gush about Firefly and how much I love this DPS, how much I love this character, because she is doing a thing, you know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with the placements here in terms of like what's meta, what isn't, stuff like that? What is your personal experience with some of these characters? Anybody using any of the characters in the lower side here that are doing just fine? Tell me about the experience there in the comments. And yeah, like the video if you like the content I do give you, and subscribe to the channel so you can get more content like this. With that, under here, let you know.